I came from, as I said, a very poor family, a family of 9, 6 boys, 3 girls. We lived in a 2-bedroom bungalow. Having the opportunity at 16 to go to England was something out of the blue that we never anticipated. To be the first to have done it, to go to England and be successful. As I said, the challenges ahead was daunting, but something that I know that I wanted. You know, football was what I dream of. Being a professional footballer is something that I've always wanted to do. And when that opportunity arose, I grasped it with both hands. I knew that this, as I said before, it was a life-changing moment for me. And I had to do it not just for myself, but for my family, to try and provide for my family in a better way financially. However, I would have never imagined in my widest thought for one moment that we will win the treble in my first year. I expected us to win a trophy, at least, but not to win the treble. And to be part of that, that is something, no matter what happens afterwards, that you're part of, and that's history.
Much has been said about your partnership with Andy Cole at Manchester United. Just tell us a bit more about that.
The club that I was walking to, the expectation level was a total different level. And the first 3 months, well, the first couple of weeks was really daunting in terms of what people had expected from me. And Andy Cole and I had been friends before, but we become even closer when I came at Man United. The reality is that the big rumors were that he was going to leave the club, and I was the one who was coming to replace him. And so I give Coley a lot of credit, because he could have easily taken the easy option and left the club at the time. He stuck around the first 3 months. We never played, or the first 2 months maybe, we never played together. In fact, I played with the current manager, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Then I played with Teddy. Then I played with Ryan Giggs, and Coley was left in the dark a little bit. But he hung in there. He believed in his ability. And on top of that, what was even great about Coley, he invited me to his home for dinner with his family. He made me feel welcome. He showed me the areas where to live in Manchester, the areas where not to go in Manchester. So he went out of his way to make me feel really, bearing in mind that I was coming to replace him. Why would someone do that? It was like a marriage made in heaven, so to speak. And so Coley and I was just in awe of each other, and pushed each other to a limit that I'm sure the Premier League will always continue to talk about. But equally, I have to acknowledge my teammates around me. Without them, it wouldn't have been possible.
So Dwight, tell us about your favorite goal scored in your career, and also toughest opponent.
I've managed to score against all the team, but I couldn't score against Real Madrid. Don't know why. I just can't score. There's just a team I just never. The couple of times or the opportunity I get to play against them. In terms of opponent, maybe Tony Adams back in the days. Those big guys was just so huge. They were 6'5".
So it's definitely a bit of a different situation at United right now compared to your era. Give us a bit more insight into what you think about the current situation right now with at Old Trafford.
Yeah, we know the difficulties in Sir Alex Ferguson leaving the football club, that the club may never be quite the same. However, we have a current manager at the moment who has spent a number of years at the football club, successful himself as a player, struggled probably through the midsection, seems to have leveled out a little bit this time around. It's hard to compare, and it's hard to sort of endure that, because in our time and before my time, United has always been competing for the Premier League. So to see us in this current position, it's kind of difficult to sort of, take in, where we always had 3 or 4 players in that senior department to make sure and guide the young players through to understand what the club and the history of the club is made up of. You look at the players that we have, I think we have some fantastic players in the squad. We now add this current player, Bruno Fernandes, who seems to make an impact, which is what we needed.
New signing at Manchester United, Odion Ighalo. What did you think about the signing?
Let's be blunt about it. It's a bit of a surprise package in many respects. With his record in the Premier League, playing at Watford, He have done remarkable well, even though moving from there to China, it's a different story. It's a whole new ball game. So that's why the eyebrows was a little bit raised when he first came in. Now, we can all hum and ha about him not being the right person. Now, he has to make it right. You're going to make an impact at a football club. If you're given time at a big club like Man United to sort of pencil in yourself and, get into the system, I think that's a dangerous game, because that club eats you up, because the scrutiny that you're under constantly, you're not given the time to really sort of cement yourself. So you go and you hit the ground running, you score some goals, you get the fans on your back, and then you're sort of off and running. But he's got off to a good start. Good luck to him for the rest of the season. I hope he continues goal-scoring form. Yeah, hopefully the team will finish on a high in my eyes.
Having taken part in the 2006 World Cup, looking at Africa specifically, what do you think is the challenge? What hinders Africa from World Cup success?
Yeah, I think that, I think you got the talent without a doubt. I think you have the team or the squad. It's the know-how. I think there's not enough know-how, not enough, I say, cunning or cleverness in terms of how to win. I remember commentating or doing some commentary work for Super Sports, and I remember, I think might have been Nigeria playing against Argentina, one of these games, and they were winning the game, but they keep attacking and keep attacking, and they keep playing into Argentina arms. When you have someone like Messi who's lurking, you just got to try and be much more clever about how they approach. And yes, I know, being African, because I have African descent, you want to play attacking style football. You want to be flamboyant. You want to be scoring goals. But it's all about winning at times. And when you get your nose in front in a World Cup with quality opposition, sometimes you need to be sensible. George Weah, I mean, one of the heroes of my time. He was slightly older than me, but somebody who I looked up to in terms of the way he played the game and how skillful he was. God, he was such a good player. Great throughout the years. Okocha, Kanu, those guys were absolutely sensational in the Premier League. You look at now, not the current crop, but just before, in my time, Drogba. I mean, wow, what a player, what an additional. So when you talk about the history of African players, it's deep in the history of the Premier League. So it's no surprise that the current crop now, Mo Salah and obviously Mane, who I think is arguably one of the most exciting players in world football, let alone in the Premier League now. And so you guys continue to do wonderful stuff and continue to produce great players. I just hope that one day, because of the continent that you possess around there, you win the World Cup at some point. But you seem to come up short. But yeah, I mean, in terms of African players, there is no better player at the moment in the Premier League than Mane, in my opinion. So.